Beautiful gesture there by those well-wishers. The International Monetary Funds Board has approved the disbursement of 55.1 billion shillings to Kenya after a review of its lending program. According to the IMF, the funds are said to be channeled towards budget financing. But what does this mean with regard to our national debts? Jimmy Mbogo explains.
The approval of the IMF facility now means that the government is edging closer to maxing out its debt ceiling, which was capped at 10 trillion shillings by Parliament in June 2022 amidst a public outcry. According to financial analysts, maturity of other debt facilities, especially commercial loans and bonds, could be forcing the government's hand.
That simply means that the government at no cost have no way. They are basically cornered. So they have to basically borrow to refinance what is maturing. You find that the interest rate has been very, very high. Or even infrastructure bonds giving you 12-13%, that has never been the case before. So it tells you how desperate, or rather how empty the government coffers are.
Nyangor further points out that the overzealousness in government projects, particularly capital-intensive projects, could lead to more borrowing, calling for extreme caution to avoid plunging the country into more debt. However, he lauded the government for opting for more concessional loans over commercial ones.
The only question is now, will the government be able to do it prudently? Good example of cheaper debts are the one that just received the 55.1 billion Kenya shillings. Given that it's coming from IMF and World Bank Group generally, the World Group tend to give you a very, very lenient interest repayment rate, so that's usually a better compared to syndicated loans.
The loan comes in the backdrop of yet another loan facility that the government was seeking from the World Bank.
There are new windows that have been introduced, and we shall engage further with the World Bank Country Office to determine the best options under these windows for the financing of our pipeline and future projects, 750 million for the current financial year. We have been trying to negotiate that to $1 billion, but Keith has promised that this is what is openly possible right now.
Analysts warn that as government borrowing continues to increase in the new year, Kenyans should be ready to tighten their belts as repayments fall due amid a depreciating shilling, meaning that repayments that are done in dollars will be more demanding.
We expect that because now high pressure on the external debt servicing, the Kenya shilling will continue depreciating and things will only get worse. It's very, very unlikely that we'll be getting any tax subsidies in the future or any subsidies in any prices in the future. So I'm expecting the situation where we have to tighten our belt for higher prices.
This now brings Kenya's cumulative disbursement under the IMF, EFF/ECC arrangement to over 203 billion shillings, while pushing the country's debt to over 8.5 trillion, nearly triple the country's budget. Jimmy Mbogo, KTN News.
And with that story